Greetings, mighty companions, take 2. All right, I am Anna Kujawa, and we are teaching and learning from A Course in Miracles today. That's what we are doing. On Wednesdays, I teach from the complete and annotated edition of A Course in Miracles. And the annotated edition of A Course in Miracles is the latest edition of A Course in Miracles that contains the 45,000 words that were left out of the first 2 editions that came through the scribe Helen Schuckman. Hi Zen, lovely to see you. And so there's so much original stuff that was left out that I really wanted to learn it. And so I decided to just, on Wednesdays, just go start at the beginning of the annotated edition and just make my way through it. So that is what we are doing. And where we're at in the, never mind all that. Take 3. This is Miracle Roulette. I almost forgot. I thought it was Wednesday there for a moment. So what we're doing is we are using the random number generator to see what Spirit wants us to study and hear from A Course in Miracles. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're doing Miracle Roulette. So the way I always open up my Miracle Roulette classes is by doing an opening meditation where we are inviting our divine indweller to decide for us what we hear from A Course in Miracles today. So that is what we're going to do first. Hi, Patty, lovely to see you. And so we're going to do about 5 minutes maybe of asking the Spirit, inviting the Spirit to decide for us, and opening our hearts and our minds for the voice and the guidance and the visions and the comfort of the divine spark that we all have within us. So what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes and just take a breath and begin to bring your awareness out of the past, from out of the future, and bring your mind to rest in the present moment, this moment now. Telling your mind it is safe to come back home to now. All love and power and healing and inspiration is found in the now. Heaven is now. The past is over, it can touch you not, and the future has not happened yet. Now is the only time that is real, and now is the time that contains all the miracles, all the peace, all the healing, all the joy that you are entitled to as a child of God. So we allow our minds to come back home to the present moment, and we allow our minds to just be and just rest and just feel the heaven that is now. Breathe and feel this moment. Feel the perfection and the power of the present moment. And tell yourself, heaven is now. Beautiful. And as we tune in to the present moment frequency, let us see if we can feel for or detect the presence that lives in the present. Just feel for the divine spark, the spirit of truth and healing within us, the voice for God within us. Feel for it. Tune your awareness to it. Breathe it in. Open your heart and your mind to this presence. And let's go ahead and ask this presence, the presence that abides in the present, the voice for God within us, the Holy Spirit within us. What is it that you would have me hear right now from A Course in Miracles? You know what I most need to remember to have peace and healing and abundance return to my awareness. You know my calls for love. You know my calls for help. And I trust your love. I trust your knowledge of me. I trust your will for my happiness. I trust your ability to communicate to me all that I need to hear today, right now. So I ask you for your answers. I ask you for your guidance. I ask you for your vision and your comfort and your inspiration. This holy instant do we give to you, Spirit of Truth within us. Be you in charge, Spirit of Truth within us, because we are certain that your direction will bring us peace. So decide for truth and healing for us, higher mind. And thank you. Thank you in advance for your answers, for your comfort, for your guidance, and for the miracles that you do bring into our awareness. We thank you for your gifts to us. Truly, you have been explicit and consistent. You have earned our trust, Spirit of Truth within us. We thank you for your gifts to us. Thank you. Be you in charge. Beautiful. All right. So take a breath. Way to ask for help. This is how we ask for healing. All the help, all the answers, all the healing, all the comfort, all the guidance that we need and that we want is available to us from within us, from the Spirit of Truth, the voice for God that is within every living being, every living creature. There is nothing that lives that doesn't have the love of God and the voice for God within it, that is ready to give the truth, the healing, saving truth to it at any time. And so we're just learning that that is available to us. We are learning that we are indwelt by the Spirit of truth, by the voice for God, by the teacher, God's teacher that God placed within us, Spirit of truth and healing. We're learning that it's there, and we're learning how to turn to it more and more often when we need peace and when we need healing. All right, so that's what this course is about, to teach us how to access the voice for truth and healing within us more and more frequently, instead of turning to the ego. All right, so now I've pulled up the random number generator. I've put in the 3 books of the Course in Miracles, the text, the workbook, and the teacher's manual, the 3 books. And now I'm going to do the generating, push the generating button. And it says it is the teacher's manual. So I know that there's 29 sections in the teacher's manual. There's 29 sections. And then I'm going to hit the generate button, and it looks like it's section 6. So we are going to the teacher's manual, and teacher's manual. And Greg, when you see what section that is in the teacher's manual, will you let me know? Oh, I can see it right here. I can see it right here. 6. Is healing certain? All right. So, isn't that interesting? We're talking about healing and comfort and guidance, and Spirit took us right to a section about healing. So, we're going to be talking about healing today. So, what I want to invite you to do is I want you to close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself, in what area of my life could I use some healing? And healing means release from fear. Where is it in your life right now you could really use a release from fear? I want you to bring that to your awareness. Beautiful. Open up your eyes. And now my invitation to you is to apply wherever that is that you are in need of healing, wherever it is you're in need of release from fear right now, that you would apply these ideas to that area. Okay, that's the goal here. Application, application, application. It's the use of the ideas that will show you that they are true. Okay, so talking about healing. All right. Now, would somebody be willing to put on here this section? It is Teacher's Manual, Section 6, Is Healing Certain? Okay? Thank you for doing that. Hi, Maya. Lovely to see you. Okay. It says, healing is always certain. Now, it's impossible to let sicknesses or problems be brought to truth and keep the sicknesses and keep the problems. You can't bring the problems to the truth and keep the problems. Once you bring the problem to the truth, once you bring the sickness to the truth, it's impossible that the problem remain. Thank you, Patty, for putting that up. Beautiful. It's the first thing that it wants us to know about healing. Healing is when you take the sickness and the problem or the fear and you bring it to the truth. That's what we do when we study A Course in Miracles. We're bringing our illusions, our misinterpretations to the truth about ourselves. That's how problems and sicknesses are healed. Wow. So what is a problem? What is a sickness? It's me not knowing the truth. It's me not accepting the truth. That's what the problem is. If you knew the truth about yourself and the truth about reality, you couldn't be afraid. You couldn't be sick. Okay? Sickness and problems are illusions that come about in the absence of your awareness of the truth about yourself. Okay? Then it says this, so the truth demonstrates that your problems, your sicknesses have no value. That's what the truth demonstrates. So when you hear the truth, when you allow the truth in, what it's going to demonstrate, what it's going to prove to you is that the problem, the sickness, is not something that you want. It has no value. When you experience the truth about yourself, it's going to demonstrate that your ego beliefs about yourself are valueless. When you experience the truth, you go like, woo, the ego and all my ego beliefs, no value whatsoever compared to the truth about myself. That's what the truth demonstrates about your problems, about your ego, about your sickness. It has no value. It's not really serving me like I thought maybe it was. The Course in Miracles tells us that unless a problem and a sickness is serving some purpose that we wanted it to serve, then we wouldn't utilize the sickness or this problem at all. And so it says when the first part of healing is when you ask yourself, what is the purpose that my ego is using this sickness for? What is the purpose that my ego is using and valuing this problem for? The Course in Miracles says that's the first thing to ask yourself when you are wanting to experience a healing of something. So, truth demonstrates that the problem, the sickness, has no real value. It's not offering you anything that has real value. Okay? Now, then it says, we, the teacher of love and truth, have seen the correction of our errors in the mind of the patient, in the mind of our pupils, that means that's anybody who's around us, recognizing the correction of errors for what it is. So that's what we do as teachers and healers and helpers. We recognize the correction of our fear, our misinterpretations in the mind of those who have been sent to us. Okay? The Course in Miracles says, who are your pupils? Who are your patients? They're anyone who is around you. Those are the ones who have been sent to you because Spirit knew that you and them could experience correction and healing together. Now, it says, having accepted the undoing of your fear and guilt for yourself in your own mind, having accepted the correction of your own errors in your own mind for yourself, you have accepted the correction of the errors for the pupil or the patient. When you accept the correction for your own errors, your own mistakes, your own fear, your own guilt in your own mind for yourself, then you have also accepted it for them. Wow. So as you accept your own healing, your own correct interpretation, you literally are accepting it for them too. And that's why once it says your only responsibility as a teacher and a healer really is to accept the truth for yourself. Accept the correction of your own fear and your own guilt for yourself. That's all you got to do. You don't have to then do anything else to help or to heal anybody else. It says you automatically accept that correction of their errors for them as well. Okay, great. So that's all you got to do. But what if the patient uses their sickness as a way of life? So once you've accepted your healing for you, for yourself, you've accepted it for them. But what if they use their sickness as a way of life? What about that? What about when the person that has been sent to you, they believe that without their sickness, they would die? What about that? Okay. When you accept the truth for yourself, you've automatically accepted the correction of their errors for them. But what if they're using their sickness, and they're using their sickness as a way of life? They're even using their sickness, they think, to stay alive. They think without this problem, they would die. Wow. Now, how do you know when someone is using their sickness or their problems or their struggles as a way of life? How do you know that? Okay. Well, you know that because when you offer a better way, another way, when you offer them and you're a witness that there's another way, that they don't have to have that problem or that sickness, instead of saying, really awesome, thank you for that demonstration. Oh, if they really weren't using their sickness and their problem as a way of life, when they saw your healing, your joy, your peace, they would see it as a demonstration that they could have that too, and they would be grateful, and they would be released. You know, they would see you and see your peace and your joy as a demonstration that they can be happy and healed as well. Okay? But if you're demonstrating that there's a better way, there's another alternative, and they resist it, you tell them all the ways that it's possible for them to be free and happy and healed and whole and healthy, and they argue that this is somebody who is using their sickness, their suffering as a way of life, thinking that without their problem, without their story, without their history, that they would die, meaning they would be left without protection. Like we're saying, the Course is telling us an earlier section that we use sickness as a way to get us something. That's what A Course in Miracles says about sickness. It's also the same thing as we use our problems, we use our suffering stories. We're using them to accomplish something. And so when you're using your suffering to accomplish something, then when someone comes around saying, hey, there's another way, you don't have to be sick, you don't have to suffer, we think they're crazy, we're offended by them, and we try to tell them how they are wrong. Now that we cling to the sickness and we cling to the suffering, we're using it as a way of life. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to take a sip of water on that. Okay. Do you recognize what I'm talking about? Have you ever met somebody who obviously was using their suffering as a way of life? Okay. That they were believing that their suffering story, their suffering history is something that was protecting them. Okay. That's what we've come to learn, that my sickness and my suffering protects me. Okay. And so that's what we've learned, and that, well, if I wasn't suffering, if I wasn't sick, then I would be unprotected. Okay. These are things that we've learned. Also, we've learned from our past that when you are sick and when you are suffering, that it enables you to have a guilt leverage that you could use to get people to do what you wanted, which became a survival device. if you're a child and you're vulnerable and you are in an environment that doesn't feel safe, then whatever enables you to get what you want and need, protection from the beings around you, that is something that becomes associated with survival. So maybe it was in the past that when you suffered or when you were sick or when you were upset, people were willing to take care of you. People were willing to help you because they felt guilty or whatever. Well, if that is the case, and it has been for all of us, as a child, what do we all learn? If I hurt myself, then what do I get from my caregivers? If I'm sick, what do I get from my caregivers? Maybe your caregivers were too busy to notice you or to notice your needs until you got hurt, until you got sick. So then you go, oh, well, sickness is a very practical device, and sickness protects me. Being sick, being sad, being depressed, suffering becomes a survival strategy. In other words, it becomes a way of life for us. And then it just becomes completely unconscious. And so we don't realize how our sickness and our sufferings are really accomplishing something for us, okay? We're using it to accomplish something. Now, when we decide that it's not helping us to accomplish what we really want, because what we really want is peace of mind, then the sickness or the suffering loses its value. When we go, the sickness and the suffering, this pain, this problem, this pattern has no value. I don't want what it's bringing me. It's not bringing me peace. It's not making me feel loved and safe like I thought it was. It has no use to me in light of my new goal. Then the Course in Miracles says it is gone. So that's why the first thing that the Course in Miracles asks us to ask is, what purpose is this serving for me? What am I using it for? What am I using it to accomplish? And all you got to do is look back into your past to see how you used, how your suffering and your sickness as a child served you in a survival way. Okay, that's all you got to do. Look back and see that and go, oh, yeah, I did that. I mean, whenever I remember, needing attention, I would always get hurt. And so I tended to be accident prone, when I was a kid. When I grew up and realized, hey, that doesn't have any value to me anymore, I stopped being accident prone. All right. Now, so I want you to ask yourself, where is it in my experience right now where I am dealing with some kind of sickness or suffering or old pattern? Okay, and ask yourself, what purpose is this serving? What is the use that I have been using this for? What did I believe unconsciously that this sickness or suffering would bring to me? Now, it says, where this is so, when somebody is using sickness or their suffering as a way of life, then a sudden healing of their suffering or their symptom may precipitate intense depression in them and a sense of loss so deep that the patient may even try to destroy themselves. Having nothing to live for, the person may ask for death. And if this is the case, then healing with this person must wait for their protection. That's deep. Sometimes healing of a person's sickness or their suffering actually needs to wait. It may actually not be in their best interest at that time. How interesting is that? It says so what it's saying here is that if a person has been using their sickness and their suffering as a way of life, they feel it gets them the love and the safety and the protection that they thought they couldn't get any other way when they were a kid, then for this person, if they were immediately to be released or relieved of their suffering that they were holding and using as a survival, a safety blanket, if their symptoms and their suffering were to be taken away from them, it may precipitate such intense depression that they do what? They try to destroy themselves. Wow. Because they had been living for their suffering. They had been living for their suffering. They had been increasing. They had been giving life to. They had been breathing life into their problem, their suffering, their sickness. They were using it as a way of life, a way to live, a way to get their basic needs met. And if they were to lose suddenly their way of life, their sickness, their false security, they may experience such intense depression that they may try to destroy themselves, having nothing to live for. And if that is the case, healing must wait. So there are some people who will be brought to you who are suffering and suffering intensely and have been suffering for a long time. And you can tell they really value that suffering. And healing might need to wait for these people, okay? So, something for us as teachers and healers to understand. The universe is sending people to us for healing. That's what is the case. When you become a healer, a helper, when you decide, hey, I want to help, I want to be helpful to mankind, to the children of God, to the creatures of life. I want to be helpful. I want to be a healing energy. I want to be a presence that helps people release themselves from fear. I want to be helpful. As soon as you made that decision, even if it wasn't conscious, you became a teacher of God. You became a healer. And instantaneously, the universe starts bringing to you people who need the healing that you also need. And so people are going to be sent to you who need healing. What to do with them when they show up is very important. And so that's why included in A Course in Miracles is a teacher's manual. So once you become a teacher, then here's a manual for what to do with the beings that the universe is sending you that are in need of healing, just like you are. Okay? And the reason that the curriculum, the reason for the plan of awakening centers around healing, offering healing, is because our healing only is complete as we offer it to others. Our release from fear, the correction of our own errors, happens as we extend that to others, as we demonstrate release from fear, as we demonstrate love to others. Okay? So, in other words, the only way that we can wake up and experience our own healing is by giving, by giving the love, giving the correction, accepting the correction for ourselves, and then extending that to others. So that's the way this curriculum works. So it's like, this is a curriculum for waking up to who and what you are and accepting your own healing. And how is that accomplished? By the extension of that, the demonstration of that. As you see the correction of your own errors extending to them, now you accept it for yourself. All right. Jerry says, I don't know where to find these people. Don't worry, Jerry. The universe is sending them to you. And I know the universe already has. I'm one of them, Jerry. I'm one of those beings that need healing that the universe sent to you. So thanks. You've done a great job. All right. Very interesting talking about people who are suffering and are sick, but they are using their sickness and their suffering as a way of life, believing that without it they would die, that they wouldn't survive. So we need to know about what to do with them when they show up, how to recognize, oh, this is somebody who's using their sickness as a way of life, and so this is somebody who's still, their healing needs to wait. So with these people, we are just patient. We are just unconditionally accepting. We stop trying to correct their errors. We stop trying to take their sickness from them. Okay? And you'll know the people who are using their sickness and their suffering as a way of life, because when you remind them that there's a better way, they will defend their sickness and their suffering. They will cling to it even harder. And that's how you know. And that's how you know, step back. Their healing needs to wait. All right? Okay. Beautiful. Hi, Carla. Lovely to see you, sweetie. Beautiful. Paragraph 2. And it says, healing will always stand aside when healing would be seen as a threat. And the instant that healing is welcome, then healing is there. The instant that person says, I want a better way. This suffering is not serving me any longer. It has no more use to me. I want a better way. In that instant, healing is there. And where healing has been given, healing will be received. And what is time before the gifts of God? So it doesn't matter how long that they wait. It doesn't matter how long that they wait or that healing must wait. It doesn't matter. What is time before God, who is eternal? So patience, patience. Hi, Joe. Lovely to you. Greetings to you. Another Monday night. Now, then it says, and we have referred many times in the text to the storehouse of treasures that are laid up equally for the giver of the healing and the receiver of the healing. Beautiful. What does that mean? That means that not one gift of healing that you may offer is lost. Not one gift of healing that you have ever given or been offered has been lost. There is a storehouse of treasures that have been laid up equally for the receiver of the healing and the giver of the healing, the receiver of the truth and the giver of the truth. Okay? Whenever you have been a giver of truth, which means released from fear or love, that treasure has been laid up for you in a storehouse. And any gift of release from fear that's been given you that you couldn't accept at that moment is laid up in the storehouse of treasures, equally waiting for you for any moment that you should decide that you want healing more than you want the suffering or the problem. And any moment that the receiver that you offered it to says, I want the gift of love, I don't want this fear and this problem and this suffering anymore, I say yes to the healing of this suffering, this sickness. Instantly, the storehouse of healing treasures is available to them, as much to them as equally to you. Good news. All right. Jerry says, bring on the storehouse. I love it. Demi says, a beautiful storehouse, no layaway. Amen to that. Exactly. No layaway at all. It says the instant that the healing is desired more than the suffering or the sickness, then right then and there it will be received. So if right now you're experiencing a sickness or a suffering, just know that the only reason you still have it right now is because it's still serving a purpose that you haven't questioned yet. There's still some value that you see in it. And the instant that you say, this has no use for me anymore. I have no use for this suffering. I want healing. I want joy, not this problem anymore. In that instant, there is a storehouse of treasures, a storehouse of gifts of healing and miracles that have already been laid up for you. They're just waiting for you. And like Demi said, no layaway program necessary. Instantaneously, you can receive it. That's amazing. Don't have to wait for healing. Don't have to wait for the miracles of healing. Don't have to wait. It's already been laid up there and just waiting for you to say, I want joy and healing more than this problem. Like A Course in Miracles says, where you ask yourself, do I want the problem or do I want the answer? What a simple question. And the Course in Miracles says, ask yourself that sometime. It's a radically simple question. What? Wait a minute. I'm just supposed to ask, do I want the problem or do I want the answer? Wait a minute. It can't be that simple. It can't be that easy. But it is. Because the sickness is not an accident that happened to us. The suffering is not an accident that happened to us because we're just a helpless victim of a cruel world. That is not the nature of reality. The Course in Miracles is telling us that the sickness is happening because we wanted it for some reason. It was serving a purpose that we had not consciously questioned, and so, and why is that? The Course in Miracles says that is true because we are very powerful creators, and that nothing happens to us without our request and our consent. I know that's radical. I don't fully believe that myself yet, but I want to. I want to accept the truth about the real power of my mind. I don't know the true power of my mind. That's why I'm a student of A Course in Miracles. That's why I still need these ideas. That's why I still need healing. But this is what A Course in Miracles is teaching us. And so A Course in Miracles is reminding us throughout the entire curriculum that our minds are so powerful that nothing happens to us without our request or our consent, including sickness. And that as we begin to even act like that's true, Even though I don't fully believe that, obviously, but when I say about my problem, I am responsible for what I'm experiencing. I chose the feelings I am experiencing, and everything that seems to be happening to me, I asked for, and I have received as I have requested. Even if I say that without totally believing that, I get the miracle. I unleash the power that undoes. It says, if you will just say that, even if you don't fully believe that, it says that the results of all your mistaken choices for suffering, all the effects of your wrong decision for suffering will be undone for you. Wow. Hard to believe, but once you experience that, then you will know that it's true. So it seems like magic. You say that without totally believing it, and then the next thing you know, the effects of that mistaken choice for the sickness and the suffering are undone for you, and it blows your mind. And you think, that seems like magic. How did that happen? And how did that happen so fast? But it's not magic. It's a miracle. That's the truth. All right. Because when you say, I am responsible for what I'm experiencing, you're acknowledging the truth. That's you bringing the problem to the truth. And when the problem meets the truth, then the problem is gone. And what's the truth? The truth is that I chose this suffering because I perceived that it would give me something of value. From my childhood, my suffering had survival value. And so I grew up to unconsciously believe that being hurt, being sick, being afraid or whatever made me safe. And now it's just an unconscious belief system that I am acting out of completely unconsciously, having no idea why it is that I'm still suffering and why I still have this problem. The goal, the one responsibility of the teacher, the healer, the helper, is to accept the correction of their own errors in their own mind. That's the one responsibility of a teacher and a healer. Accept the correction of your own errors for yourself and your own mind. Meaning, where is it that I have been unconsciously asking for suffering? And where is it that I want to choose again for healing and miracles and joy? And it's saying here that as I do that, and I take responsibility for my own errors and bring my own errors to the truth, then I've automatically done that for everybody else. Now I'm a witness that it's possible to everybody. And that's all anybody needs in order to accept their own healing miracles. All they need is one witness who has allowed their own errors, their own victim consciousness errors to be corrected in their own mind. All they need is a witness. If they really want healing, all they need to go is, it's possible. I say yes, and it's done. That's why you don't have to do anything. Your one responsibility as a teacher is just to accept the truth, the correction of your own errors. Because then, once people see you as a witness, then if they really want it, then they'll ask for it in that moment. So, beautiful. Now, then it says, so beautiful, talking about the storehouse. It says, we have referred many times in the text to the storehouse of treasures that are laid up equally for the giver and the receiver of love's gifts. Wow. So if you are a giver of love's gifts, there is a storehouse of treasures that are laid up for you. And also, if you're someone who desires healing, loves healing gifts, there's also a storehouse of treasures laid up for you. In other words, everything is available to us the moment that we want it. That's the way love set up the universe. That's the way the universe is set up. The universe was created as a storehouse of good that's laid up for everyone equally, no exceptions, no conditions. And if there's any lack that any of us are experiencing, then it is only because we are denying it to ourselves. We don't believe we deserve it, and we believe that if we accepted the good, that we would be defenseless, that our defenses that we've used for safety and security and survival would be gone, and we would be left defenseless. That's the only reason that we could be experiencing any lack of any good that we want or need. Because it's been, all the good in the universe has been laid up for all of us equally. No exceptions. Not some treasures laid up for some people more than other people. God creates with perfect fairness, which means God has created a universe of good that is available to everyone equally, forever, no exceptions, no conditions. Everybody is entitled to all the good that the loving Creator has created for all of its creations. That is the truth. So that means that if you're experiencing any lack, it's because you don't want it, you're afraid of it. But the moment that you say, yes, I want the good, I want the treasures, I want the healing that has been laid up for all of creation equally, the moment you say yes to it and you want it more, you're valuing it more than the problem, it is there. No waiting, no time period, no waiting, no cost. The miracle of healing, the gifts of love, the treasures are yours. Wow. That is incredible. And it says, not one of these gifts of love is lost, because these gifts of love can only increase. And that's why no teacher of God, no healer should feel disappointed if they have offered healing and it doesn't appear to have been received. All right. So, very important for teachers and healers. Anytime you've tried to offer a gift of love, a gift of healing, and the person, it appears the person did not receive it, where the person rejects that, it says, do not be disappointed. Okay? So if you offered a gift of love, a gift of truth, a gift of release from fear to somebody, and they didn't want it, don't be disappointed. Why? Because it's not up to you to judge when that gift should be accepted. You gave it, it was received. So it says, teacher, healer, if you've offered a gift of love and the person seems to have rejected that, I don't want your love, I don't want that release from fear, I don't want the truth. It says, don't be disappointed. It says what you should do is be certain that you gave it, it was received. And it's not up to you to judge when that person accepts it, when that person receives it. Anytime you have given a gift of love, it is received. It just goes into that treasure house, that storehouse of treasures, waiting for this person for when they want it. Be certain of that. So, So we don't want to be the teachers and the healers that are offering love, gifts of love, and then people don't want it, then we're disappointed and we're angry, and then we're going to take them back. Oh, you don't want my gift of love? I'm taking it back. How dare you reject my loving gift of truth and forgiveness and peace? It says, so remember, this is a manual for teachers. These are things that people who have decided that they want to be helpful in the world, they want to be helpful to others. This is what they need to know. This is what you need to know so that you can continue to give your gifts of love without being upset or disappointed or angry when it appears that it was rejected or when it appears it wasn't received. It says, because if you as a teacher and a healer and a helper, if you get disappointed and angry that they didn't accept your gift of love and you try to take it back, then you are going to be teaching yourself lack. You're going to be teaching yourself a lesson in lack. So this is teaching us how to be good and effective teachers and healers in a world where there is so much need for healing. There's so much need for healing. There's such a deep, profound need for healers and teachers of love in the world. I don't know if you've noticed, but I think you have. It's pretty obvious. It seems like the world is quite desperate, hot mess. So we need to know how it is to, what it is that we need to know why it is that when we offer gifts of healing and love, that sometimes people reject those gifts of love. Sometimes they feel offended and they reject those gifts of love and healing. And here's the truth about it. It didn't get rejected. Whenever you've offered a gift of love, a gift of healing, it actually was received. But it's not up to you to decide when they receive it. They will receive it when they see that there's really no value to them anymore in their suffering. When they decide that they want the joy and the healing more than the suffering story that they've been suffering with and clinging to, then in that moment, the gift of love that you offered, they will receive. It will be there. And it doesn't matter. The whole time concept doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter when. There's no expiration date on the gift of love and healing that you offered them that they didn't take in that moment. There's no expiration date. As soon as they want it, as soon as they want the healing instead of the problem, it will be there. And it's not up to you, teacher, healer, to judge when they should accept that. I gave that to them. They should accept that now. Okay, that's not up to you to judge when they accept the gift of love and healing that you offered them. All right? Instead of being disappointed, instead of being angry and trying to take it back from them, just be certain that that gift of love was received by them. And also just trust that that gift of love, that healing you offered them, will be accepted when they recognize it as a blessing instead of a curse. Wow, very good. Very, very important instructions for teachers and healers, okay? If you're watching this broadcast, most probably you are one of those people. I feel certain if you're even watching this, if you're even a student of the Course in Miracles, you have decided that you want to be part of the solution on planet Earth instead of the problem. Okay, great. You've become a teacher and a healer on earth, a light worker, a healer, okay? The light of the world says, well, it's wonderful that you have accepted your function of being a healer and a teacher, and there are things you need to know so that you can be an even better and more effective teacher and healer. It's very easy to become disappointed or to be frustrated or angry when you've offered a gift of love and somebody rejects it. And it happens all the time, okay? And how you handle that determines how fast you progress in accepting your own healing and how fast you evolve as the teacher and the healer that you are. So it's a very important topic. If you offer a gift of love and they don't receive it, they reject it, it's because right now they are seeing that blessing as a curse, okay? If they believe that their sickness and their suffering is somehow protecting them and helping them to survive somehow, and you're offering them a release from that suffering, then they're going to see your healing offering as a curse. They're going to see it as something to run away from. Okay. Wonderful. Yes. Okay, I'm going to see if I can see this message. Let me see here. Okay, Julie says, this happened to me with a gentleman who introduced you to me. Interesting. I couldn't accept his gift of love at the time. I couldn't accept his gift of love at the time. I'm so grateful he introduced you to me. What a blessing you are. Thank you, Julie. That's so beautiful. It's a perfect example. It's a perfect example, Julie. You know, just because at that moment you couldn't accept that gift doesn't mean that that gift was lost. And then the moment that you wanted the healing and the truth more than you wanted whatever story was going on, here it was. It's a beautiful example of that. Thank you, Julie. That's wonderful. Oh, perfect. Yes. All right. Now we're in paragraph 3. So we are in the teacher's manual and we are in section 6 called, it's a question, is healing certain? Okay. When I offer a healing, a gift of love to another person, is that done? Is there anything I need to do after that, especially if they don't accept it and they reject it? Do I need to tweak it? Do I need to go move then move in with them to make sure they're using that microwave the way that you deem they should use that microwave? You're not going to move in with them and go, you're using that microwave I gave you, right? It says, same thing when we are offering gifts of love, healing to others. It's not, our responsibility is just to give it and to trust, to be certain that when they want the peace and the healing and the release, then it will be there for them. And it doesn't matter how long that takes. It's not up to us to decide when and where. It's only our responsibility to offer those gifts of love with trust, trusting that they will accept it when they don't see it as a curse. Okay. All right, now we're in paragraph 3. It is not your function, it's not your job to evaluate the outcome of your gifts of love and healing. It is merely your function to give them. That's it. To give the love, to give the release from fear, to give the guiltlessness, to give the reminder that there's another way, there's a better way. All right, sorry about the Wi-Fi interruption there. All right, so we're saying that your only function as a teacher and a healer is just to give the gifts of love, is just to offer the reminder. It doesn't have to be this way. There's a better way. If you want it, you don't have to suffer. Don't have to suffer anymore. That's our only responsibility, is to give that gift of love, that reminder, that release from guilt and that release from fear. And once you've done that, you've also given the outcome, because the outcome of your gift is part of your gift. So as soon as you've given the gift, you've also given the outcome of that gift, which is that they accept it and are released by it, are healed by it. Deep. What a cool gift is that? Wait a minute. This is a gift that literally, as you give the gift, you've also given the outcome. Wow. The outcome of the gift of love you offer to others is certain the moment you give it. Now, you don't know when that's going to happen, but it doesn't, what is time to something that is eternal? Okay. All right, sorry about the Wi-Fi connection. We're having a snowstorm right now, and the snowstorm interferes with the satellite's ability to catch that signal. So thank you for your patience. Beautiful. Patty says, this is such a beautiful message of hope. We always want everything in the time we want it. This does not matter. Exactly. I'm going to try to see if I can see the rest of your message, Patty. It says, giving the healing is all that matters. Love this. Thank you, Patty. That's beautiful. And Rebecca says, I truly, truly need to accept this and trust and have faith. Absolutely. Indeed. Okay. We are the light of the world. Okay. Like it or not. That's why we're here. Okay. We came here and we've become students of A Course in Miracles because it is our function. It is our job to give love, to be healers, to be teachers, to be the light of the world, to be the hope of the world, of mankind and creation. We have a function that love has given us to fulfill. And the most important job, the most important function that there is, that you could have, okay? That's really what you're here to do. That's your real purpose. And we're not just born here to get everything that you can get for a body and then die. That is not why we're here. That's not why we are born, especially at this time when mankind and earth is going through such a profound transition. I mean, precarious transition. We were born here at this time for a very, very important reason. We're here to be teachers of love, demonstrators of peace, demonstrators of that there's a better way than suffering, than sickness, okay? And so the whole curriculum is teaching us about our job, our function, our profession. Our real profession is teachers and healers for humanity. And so the teacher's manual is teaching us how to do our job. You know, it's like, we got this job, and like, how do I do my job? Okay, I'm a teacher and a healer. Great. I don't remember going to teacher or healer school. Here's your manual for how to do your real profession. And the Course in Miracles says all through the curriculum, you will never rest until you find your function and fulfill it. Until you find your real profession, the profession of your spirit, and fulfill it. And the teacher's manual is teaching you how to fulfill it, how to do it, how to be the teacher of God, the giver of the gifts of love and healing to humanity that you were born to be. Now, so it's saying your one responsibility is just to give the love, give the truth, give the release from guilt, and not to be concerned about the outcome of your giving. That is what is your one responsibility. Give it and forget about it. Give it and forget about it. Don't be disappointed if it doesn't seem to be received. Don't be disappointed or angry if they reject it. Just give it in trust, knowing that it has been received and the outcome of it is guaranteed in the moment, the second they want the truth and the healing more than they want that suffering. It's right there for them. Beautiful. All right. There's everything we need to know as teachers and healers, because if we don't know this, we are going to be so disappointed and frustrated and angry when we're like, I'm giving you law, I'm giving you truth, and you don't want it. Like, you're like acting like I attacked you. What? It's so tempting to want to take that gift back when you've offered a gift of love and truth and they don't want it and they reject it and then turn on you. So what? How is that? I'm giving gifts of love and truth, but you turn on me? Huh? If you don't understand what's going on, then you're going to be very tempted to be disappointed, frustrated, angry, and then you're going to try to take that gift back, when really you should be taking it from yourself. So this is crucially important here. And so, like we were saying, that when somebody rejects your gift of love and truth, now you know what's really going on. They're not rejecting you. They're letting you know that right now they are using their sickness and their problem as a way of life, a way of survival and safety. And so they perceive that if they accept your gift of love and truth, that they will be made vulnerable. They'll be left without their survival mechanism that they developed in childhood. That's what's really going on. It's not that you're a bad teacher. It's now you know what's really going on. So don't personalize it. Don't take it personal. Understand what's really going on and have trust and have faith and certainty that when you gave the gift, you gave the outcome, which means about the result of your giving. That's not you really giving a gift. That's you giving a bargain. That's you giving some guilt in a nice package. You can't give a gift of love for real if you're concerned with the outcome. It says if you are concerned with the outcome of the gift you're giving, well, that is a limitation on the giving itself. You're putting a big old limit on your gift that you're giving if you're concerned with the outcome of your giving. It says, and then neither the giver nor the receiver will have the gift. Okay? So if you're giving a gift, but you're concerned about it, like how are they going to use it? When are they going to use it? Are they going to give you credit for it? So you are putting a big old limit on the gift, which means they're not going to get the value of the gift or the benefit, and neither are you. So be conscious of that. Am I putting a limit on my gift? Am I concerned about what they're going to do with my gift? Be aware of that temptation to limit your giving, your gift that you're giving. Because trusting them is an essential part of giving the gifts of love that you're giving. You really can't give the gifts of love and truth if you are concerned about the outcome, which means if you're not trusting them, if you're not trust in that soul that you're offering it to. Trust that the gift of love has been received by their soul, their spirit, and that will be accepted when they see it without fear. Trust is an essential part of giving. In fact, trusting that soul and that spirit is the part that makes sharing possible. Trusting that soul, that spirit to whom you're giving the gift, it's the trust that guarantees that you, the giver, will not lose with your giving, but you'll only gain. So, wow, very interesting, very interesting. So when you're giving a gift and you're giving it in trust that it's been received by that person's spirit and their soul, and when their soul sees it as a blessing and not a curse, it'll be there for them and they'll accept it. And that's a done deal. It's going to happen. I don't know when, but it doesn't matter. That trust, that kind of trust guarantees that as you give, no matter what their reaction is, you will gain. You will gain because of that giving. Your trust that you give that gift with guarantees that you will only gain as a result of that giving. Beautiful. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they do with it, how they receive it, when they receive it. It doesn't matter. If you can give that gift trusting, if you can give that gift without being concerned about the outcome of the gift, then you will only gain because of that giving. You'll know that it'll be guaranteed that you can't lose. Sometimes we're afraid to give because we're afraid that we'll lose because of it. This is a way to guarantee that by giving, you'll not lose at all, whatever it is that you're giving. And then the Course asks a question. Who gives a gift and then remains with their gift to be sure that their gift is used as you, the giver, deems appropriate? That's not giving. That's imprisoning. Okay? And we've all received gifts like that, have we not? We've all received gifts where somebody gave us a gift and then they wanted to know how we were using that gift. Are you using that? Are you using that blender that I gave you? Are you using that blender that I gave you appropriately? Like what I was saying earlier, when you give someone a gift, you don't move in with them to make sure they're using what you gave them as you deem appropriate. That's not giving. So if you give somebody the gift of freedom, and then you're like, how are you using that gift of freedom that I gave you? Are you using that gift of freedom appropriately? Or let's say you gave somebody a gift of money, and then you're like, now how did you use that money? Did you squander that money? Did you invest that money wisely? It says to give a gift and to remain with that gift to make sure they're using your gift as you deem appropriate, that is not giving at all. That is imprisoning them with the gift. Here's a little bait. It's like a bait that you're using to imprison somebody with. Okay? And that's not real giving. That's imprisoning. That's a guilt trip. I'm going to give you this gift, but really it enables me to give you this guilt. Okay? That wasn't a real gift, and that's not real giving. That's imprisoning in the name of gift giving. Great. Now, how can you tell when you have done some fake giving? When you were like, here's a gift, but it was really not real giving, it was imprisoning. The way you can tell is are you disappointed with how they used that gift? And now are you asking them how they use that gift, and are you angry because they didn't use that gift as you hoped they might? Okay? If somebody gave you a gift and then they give you guilt about how you used it, that was a bargaining chip they gave you. It wasn't a real gift. All right? So the anger is your cue that you didn't give for real. You didn't do real giving. You did bargaining. You did imprisoning with a bait. Wow, hardcore. Jerry says, it's like if you give someone that blender, you don't go over to their house to see if they're using it the right way. Exactly. You come out, of your bedroom in the middle of the night and they're standing there like this, or they're waiting there in the morning like, are you going to use the blender I gave you? Sure I am. All right. So, now it's very important. Now, if you're giving a gift and you're giving it with conditions and you're giving it with guilt and you're staying with them to make sure they're using it appropriately, then whatever gift you gave, you're going to not experience gain from, you're going to experience loss from. Wow. Beautiful. Okay. So now it's 8:22. Let me see where we're at. Okay. Maybe I'll do one more paragraph. Oh, almost done. I think I'll finish it. Okay. Paragraph 4. It is the relinquishing of all concern about the gift of love and truth that you give that makes that gift truly given. Say what? It is the relinquishment of all concern about the gifts you're giving that makes that gift, your gifts, truly given. And it is trust that makes true giving possible. Okay? So unless I'm able to trust that this gift was given to their spirit and their soul, and their soul and the spirit will use it and accept it when they wouldn't be afraid of it. It's the trust that makes true giving possible. And it's only your giving that enables you to know how much you have. So this is a very important topic. Only as you give do you know you have, which means you're going to have to be giving in order to know how much you have. Okay, well then, but at the same time, so you need to know what it makes for true giving. Beautiful. It says healing is the change of mind that spirit in their mind is seeking for them. And it is spirit, their higher self, it is their higher self that accepts the gift you gave them for them. And it is their higher self, their Holy Spirit, that who gives the gift to them. Very interesting. So really, you're giving the gift to their higher self, and it's their higher self who will give it to them when they are ready and when they want it. That is not your job. Your job is to give it and to remember that you're not giving it to that person's ego. You're giving that gift to their higher self, who will thank you, who will take it and will hold on to it for them and to give it back to them when they are ready for it. Beautiful. That's what we need to know about what happens to our gifts after we give them, and trusting that. And if it's being given to their higher self, who's holding it and using it and giving it to them when they're ready, then how could that gift be lost? How can the gift you give them be ineffectual? How can the gift you're giving them be wasted? God's treasure house can never be empty. That means if one gift were missing from God's treasure house, then that means it wouldn't be full. Yet the treasure house, God's treasure house, it yet is its fullness guaranteed by God. What concern then can you, teacher, healer, have about what becomes of your gifts? given by God to God, who in this holy exchange, this loving exchange, can receive less than everything. Beautiful. All right. So that's what we need to know, teachers and healers, about what becomes of our gifts. Okay? We've got to give in order to know how much we have. We got to give to live. We got to give to receive. So we got to give, and we are givers. We are teachers and healers. We are extenders of the gifts of love and truth and release from fear. That is our curriculum for our awakening, our healing. It is a curriculum of giving what we want to receive. It's a curriculum of giving what we want, and in the act of giving it, realizing, oh, I already have it, and oh, I deserve it. So the whole process of giving and effective giving, true giving, is very important one for us teachers and healers. And so we just heard everything we needed to know about how to do true and effective giving so that we can fulfill our function and experience that we have it all. All right. Good job, guys. We went through a whole section. I hope this has been helpful for you as a teacher, a healer, somebody who has signed up and agreed to be helpful to humanity on this planet at this time. I hope this was helpful to you in becoming a better giver, which means a better receiver and a more rich and abundant life. The better giver you are, the more you learn about real giving, the more you come to understand and experience the reality of God's storehouse of treasures that are laid up for you, everyone equally. Beautiful. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do announcements, and then I'm just going to do a few-minute integration meditation where we take these ideas and we use them in our lives. Thank you, Patty. I appreciate you. All right. So announcements are this. Between Greg and I, we do 4 live streams a week. We do Sundays we do a healed relationship curriculum through A Course in Miracles. What do you say? Speaking of healing. Yeah, so we're doing how do you heal a relationship? I mean, okay, yeah, I'm like offering healing to others that the universe sends me, but how do you accept the healing of a relationship, where a relationship goes from fear and grievances and pain and suffering, broken into by periods in which it seems to be gone, to a relationship that feels like heaven, Disneyland? And how does that happen? Well, A Course in Miracles has a lot to say about how to allow your relationships to go from something that hurts you, that feels like you're doomed, to something that feels like heaven every day. So Greg and I do that on Sundays. Right now we're in chapter 17, beginning of the healed relationship. How do you begin it, and what do you need to know as it progresses? And then on Mondays, like tonight, I do Miracle Roulette using the random number generator. On Tuesdays, Greg does his live stream, synthesizing Course in Miracles in the Bible. And on Wednesdays, I am doing the annotated edition where I'm just going through the book, and we're in chapter 6 at this time. So those are the classes, all of them 7 to 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time, all of them. On Sundays, Greg and I are a little flexible on our start time sometimes. Also, I am a holistic psychotherapist, and I've developed a psychotherapeutic niche called Miracle Psychotherapeutics, where I offer one-on-one counseling to folks who are wanting some support as they're going through some kind of challenge or transition, but they want that support from A Course in Miracles psychotherapy. Course in Miracles is the ultimate psychotherapeutic model that I've ever come across. It is absolutely the best. So if you would like to set up a one-on-one session with me, then the best way to reach me is to either private message me on Messenger or go to my website, annakujawa.com, ANNAKUJAWA.com, find my phone number and text me. I'm also a certified relationship therapist. So if you are in a couple and you would like some couples support from A Course in Miracles perspective, I am available for that. So, beautiful, that's that. If you would like to watch more of my classes in a more streamlined, organized way, then you can find years worth of my Course in Miracles classes on my YouTube channel. And so just go to YouTube, put my name in, and there's my YouTube channel. And if you would like a free and easy way to support this ministry, then liking and sharing and subscribing to my YouTube channel is a wonderful way to do that. So now I thank you for that. And also, if you would like to extend this message out more to the world, then also you could share this on your Facebook feed as well. Sharing is caring. So thank you for that. I appreciate all your support for mine and Greg's Miracle Ministry. That's profoundly appreciated. It means everything to us because that's what we're here to do. So that is that. Now we're going to do about 5 minutes of an integration meditation where we take the ideas and use them. So I want you to just close your eyes and take a breath. And just notice how you feel having heard these ideas of A Course in Miracles. What does it feel like to hear these ideas? And what does it feel like to listen to them in a circle of souls who also want healing, who've decided they don't want to suffer anymore? Souls like yourself who have said, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to do life. All right, now I want you to bring to your awareness a situation where in a relationship you offered a gift of love, a gift of release from fear, a gift of truth to somebody. You offered them love, and it appears that they rejected that. Or maybe they were offended by it. Or maybe someone offered you a gift of love and truth, and you rejected. Now, now I haven't allowed the benefit and the gain for myself of giving that gift. Now, I want you to tell yourself the truth. The truth is that I gave that gift to the God in them. I gave it to their higher self, and their higher self received that gift I gave them. And their higher self is holding on to that gift. And it's their higher self who will give them that gift when that person is ready for it and wants it more than they're suffering. And that's a done deal. When I gave the gift, I gave the outcome as well. So when that person is ready, when they want that gift of love and truth more than they want their problem or their suffering, you to be there for them. Fresh, shining, powerful. And breathe. And just tell yourself, my one responsibility is to extend the love. That's it. And now, let's go ahead and try again. Now I want you to extend a gift of love and truth to them. Extend the release from guilt or a release from fear or an affirmation of guilt, their guiltlessness to them in your mind. See your loving right mind giving that gift to their loving right mind. And this time, give that gift with full trust that the gift was received. And their higher self will hold it for them. And then tuning back into your own self, notice the gain. Notice the feeling of, I deserve love myself. I just gave love. I must deserve love. I must have the gift I just gave. Enjoy that. Appreciate that. Feel that within yourself. Wow, I must have the gift I gave. And if I gave it, I must deserve it. And breathe that in. I deserve love. I must be love. I must have love if I gave love. And breathe it in and enjoy that and appreciate that. Notice how you gave the gift to yourself as well as to them. Beautiful. All right, guys. Way to practice the course. Good work. Good work learning to be a better teacher and healer and fulfilling your function on earth with humanity at this time. Good job. You are needed. You are necessary. And you are loved. I appreciate you so much. And I will see you next time I see you.